Welcome back to Goan Law for the Layman. In the last couple of videos, we discussed the various types of marriages in the state of Goa, and we also discussed the procedure of registering marriages in Goa. In today's video, we will be discussing prenuptial agreements and the various types of prenuptial agreements. So, let's dive in. So, prenuptial agreements are agreements entered into between the spouses at the time of their marriage, and these agreements basically cover the possession and ownership of the properties owned by the spouses at the time of the marriage and acquired by the spouses after the marriage. So the parties have a choice to decide who owns and possesses which properties, and if they do not enter into any prenuptial agreements, then the properties will be governed by the law of communion of assets. Communion of assets is the default law in the state of Goa, which means that unless the parties decide otherwise, the properties owned by the spouses are jointly owned and jointly possessed. So, any property owned by one spouse will automatically give 50% share in the estate to the other spouse. So, if you do not wish to be governed by this default law of communion of assets, you can enter into a prenuptial agreement at the time of registering your marriage. So how is it done? It is basically a document which is drawn up before the registrar at the time of registration of the marriage, and this is handwritten by the registrar in his book of deeds. This will basically spell out the arrangement of ownership and possession of properties owned by you at the time of the marriage and acquired after the marriage. This deed will be written down by the registrar in the presence of two witnesses, followed by signatures of all the parties and the witnesses and the registrar himself. Once the document is signed and sealed, it is binding on the spouses. So let us have a look at what are the different types of prenuptial agreements. The very first type is what we just discussed, the law of communion of assets. So if you don't enter into any prenuptial agreement, you are governed by communion of assets, but you can also execute a deed before the registrar declaring that your marriage will be governed by communion of assets, in which case the properties will be owned jointly by both the spouses. Now the advantage of this is that your spouse cannot dispose of any property without your consent or knowledge. Therefore, you can feel secure. Secondly, you also are entitled to certain benefits under the Income Tax Act. Let me explain how. When you own properties and when you get income, this income is specially under the Goan law divided equally among both spouses. So when you calculate income tax, they will be considered as individual income of both the spouses, and therefore you are entitled to a lot of benefits. So keeping these advantages aside, the disadvantage is that every time you transfer or enter into any kind of transaction with regards to any of the properties, you will require the consent and cooperation of the other spouse. So if the spouse is not cooperating, then you can have a difficult time in dealing with your own properties. The second category is the category of absolute separation of assets. Now this category is the exact opposite of the first category. In separation of assets, the parties own independently their own properties, and this includes all the properties that they already owned before the marriage and the properties that they acquire after the marriage. So unless the parties jointly purchase a property, whoever has purchased that property will be the exclusive owner of the property. The obvious advantage of this is that first of all, you don't have to give away 50% of the rights in the property to your spouse. Secondly, whenever you're dealing with the properties, you will not be dependent on the consent or cooperation of the other spouse. The third category is communion of acquired assets. Here, all the properties that you own at the time of the marriage will stay as your independent properties. But all the properties that you acquire subsequent to the marriage will by default be governed by the law of communion of assets. So at the time of entering into the prenuptial agreement, both the spouses will be furnishing a list, that is an inventory of all the items that they own independently, so that they are not confused with the properties that they acquire after the marriage. So these are broadly the three categories of prenuptial agreements that you need to be aware of. There is a fourth category of dowry regime which I am not covering because it is redundant. But keeping aside all the categories, the law basically says that the spouses are at absolute liberty to impose such conditions and restrictions at the time of the prenuptial agreement as they find fit. These are subject to only three restrictions. Point number one is that once you do this prenuptial agreement, you cannot change it for the duration of the rest of your marriage. If you want to change it, it has to be only by way of order of a court of law. Secondly, you can't do a prenuptial agreement by way of a private document. The prenuptial agreement will be necessarily in the way that I just described before the registrar by drawing up a deed in the book of deeds. And point number 3, you cannot impose any conditions or restrictions which are contrary to the law. So any rights which are given under the law, if you try to take away those rights, then such conditions will not be legally enforceable. So that was all about prenuptial agreements. What do you think? Is it better to keep the assets joint or independent? Well, now that you're aware of the pros and cons, I believe you're in a better position to decide. So if you got any queries, you post them in the comment section below and I'll cover them in the next Q&A video. As always, subscribe to the channel to stay in the loop. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.